Town Council is working to deal with rising costs for trash disposal. We have details from last night's workshop on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Friday, July 25th, 2014. I'm Sarah Mantle. Keeping trash disposal rates low despite the rising cost took center stage at a town council workshop last night. The council heard from many experts on the topic, including DPW Director Dan Santos. Santos updated the council on contract negotiations and recommended New Bedford Waste Services.
Its base term is 10 years, and there are 2 extensions of 5 years each. The tipping fee in the contract is $55 a ton. To give you an idea, currently, the tipping fee at CMAS is $37.50 a ton, and transportation costs currently are about $6 a ton, and in this contract that'll be $12. So the net cost per ton is $67 a ton. Compared, if you're just looking at numbers, Covanta's last and best offer was about $75 a ton. Transportation, this material will be trucked by New Bedford Waste Services, picked up at our transfer facility and trucked to Rochester, which is same town it's going to now where their plant is being constructed. This plant that they're creating has been fully permitted by DEP and is actually under construction. They anticipate bringing it online next spring. They do have other options in the interim, or if this plant was ever down, they have facilities throughout the state and arrangements with other facilities. So there's never a time when we'd be without a place to bring our waste. There's no maximum or minimum tonnage in the contract. And as I mentioned, the ultimate waste disposition is fuel briquettes, which are used, basically like coal is used. It becomes a fuel source. That's very safe and easy to handle, and they have contracts in place to purchase these products. As far as recyclables, they are in the contract. We'll take our recyclables pretty much however we'd like to send them to them. We've discussed single stream, dual stream, multi-stream. Their facility we're able to handle however we send it to them, they'll be able to handle it. They'll be able to process the recyclables from the municipal solid waste itself. Basically, their facility is recycling, in effect, 90 to 95% of what's sent to them. It's very impressive. And the escalation factor is 2.5% per year. And that commences on January 1st, 2017. They've actually held the price for 2 years. So in conclusion, some of the highlights of the recommendation, we find that this contract with New Bedford Waste would be a significant cost savings of about $1.5 million over 10 years. That's over what the Covanta contract would have been if we kept with them. Environmentally friendly disposal method. We're no longer having to transport waste to Yarmouth east, which then goes by rail west. There's also the factor of Yarmouth having a host fee, which we'd have to pay in addition and on top of, which hadn't been negotiated, but there was going to be some fee. Currently, it's $1 a ton. And in the end, this is a company who I think was very anxious to work with towns on the Cape, very pleasant to work with. Pretty much anything we wanted, they were willing to accommodate. And that's much different than the experience we were having with the other contractor. They have great references. They've been in business a long time. So I'm heartily endorse using this firm as the firm we do for municipal solid waste going into the future.
The Renewable Energy Commission was also on hand to chat about their recommendations. Chair Allison Alessi urged the council to support a pay-as-you-throw system.
This is just a map that's probably not surprising of the density of solid waste sticker holders. You can see most located in Marston's Mill, Centerville. You can help me with my geography, actually. Fosterville. That's right. And I personally, I live in Hyannis. I drive about, I think I've measured it, it's 8 miles. It's really out of the way. And part of doing the research that we did and issuing this report in 2012, we went and spoke to all 7 of the local village associations. And as you may expect, you kind of hear different concerns in Marston's Mills than say, Hyannis, for example. So these are the 2 recommendations that we came up with when we issued the report. The first was to implement a pay-as-you-throw curbside program for trash and recycling and divide the town into 3 sectors. Some key points to this would be that we recommend keeping the transfer station open, and that would be more for bulky items like construction debris, yard waste, those types of things. And for folks, for whatever reason, that can't access a curbside program, and we've talked about being private roads, people who are elderly and maybe can't roll their things out to the road, something like that. And that's sort of a detail. And also with this, we recommend establishing or updating our Board of Health regulations, which would require private haulers to offer bundled pricing for trash and recycling together. And we would request that that be with enhanced reporting. Right now, we have no information for customers using private haulers. Our secondary recommendation was to implement pay-as-you-throw for current transfer station users. And again, with this recommendation is for the bundled pricing for folks that are still using private haulers. Pay-as-you-throw, and we've touched on this a little bit, is also called unit-based pricing, or SMART. It's quite simply that residents pay for exactly what they use. Recycling is free, and there's many models. We've talked about some of them. There's a lot of details that go into this. Most towns use bags, which are purchased in various sizes for certain costs. Some towns use stickers. Sandwich, for example, uses one vendor that manages all of this. They sell the bags and kind of help do that. The fixed cost portion of this are paid for by a lower annual sticker fee, and disposal costs are actually paid for by the bag fees. Why do pay-as-you-throw? It's the single most effective and equitable program for reducing waste and increasing recycling. As I mentioned, it's like a utility where users pay for exactly what they use, what's disposed of, and encourages recycling. 141 communities in Massachusetts currently have curbside or drop-off pay-as-you-throw programs, including locally Sandwich, Wellfleet, Brewster, and Plymouth, which I think is an interesting case study. It's kind of a very similar town to Barnstable in terms of area and demographics. So their program's very interesting. They have a hybrid curbside and drop-off program. The typical decrease when you implement a program like this for trash tonnage is between 40 and 50%. And as I said, the recycling increase is less than that, but 15 to 40%.
Town Councilor Eric Steinhilber says making recycling easier and more convenient could increase Barnstable's recycling rate without going to a pay-as-you-throw system.
When I talk to people about recycling, the 3 things I find that would be helpful would be the ease of recycling, single stream, alternate locations. A lot of people are not aware that you can recycle at the transfer station for free, and they just put it in their trash with the haulers. So those are 3 things I think we should focus on. Single stream to make it easier. I mean, everyone wants to recycle. Nobody goes out and I'm going to make sure I don't recycle today. But I think it's all the separating, the chore of it. So make it easier. Perhaps find a way to have alternate locations for the driving and education. I don't know how best to do that, but to make sure that people in town know that there is the option, because I've been approached by people like, I wish I could recycle. I wish there was a place to recycle in town. I say, you can go right to the dump. And oh, I didn't know that. So those are 3 things that I think we should focus on to help increase recycling.
The discussion will continue during the August 7th Town Council meeting. An agenda item to approve the proposed contract with New Bedford Waste Services will be placed on the agenda. Public comment will be taken at that meeting. Well, be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 7 a.m. On Monday's show, we will chat with Town Manager Tom Lynch, Superintendent of Schools Dr. Mary Schakowsky, and we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.